Hi, welcome to Verse of the Day. My name is Brandon Hathaway. I preach at the Westside Church of Christ in Owensboro, Kentucky. I want to thank you for joining me today as we open up the Bible and study the Word of God. Today we're in Matthew chapter 16. Matthew 16. And going to be starting in verse 16 and work our way down through verse 23. So we're going to read a few more verses than I usually do. But let's start there in verse 16. It says, Simon Peter answered and said, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." Jesus answered and said to him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I say to you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he commanded his disciples that they should tell no one that he was Jesus the Christ. From that time Jesus began to show the disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders, the chief priests, the scribes, and be killed and raised the third day. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "Far be it from you, Lord, this shall not happen to you." But he turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are an offense to me, for you are not mindful of the things of God, but the things of men." I want to read it all those verses because your starting point was Peter being complimented, right? He was asked, who do they say that I am? Some say Elijah, some say John the Baptist, another prophet, Jeremiah. Who do you say that I am? He says, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And he says, the Lord praises him for that. And he says, "Blessed are you, the Father up in heavens has granted this information to you. Upon your confession, upon this rock, I'll build my church." I mean, great things right there. Now, I believe there's some time frame. I don't know how much time frame took place between one and the other. But in the scriptures here, we're reading just one right after the other, right? You go from one moment of Peter being, "I'm going to build my church upon your confession," to Jesus turning around and rebuking Peter and saying, "Get behind me, Satan, for you're not mindful of the things of God." And it should be a great warning to us to always be on guard. For he who thinks he stands, take heed lest he fall, right? He who thinks he stands, take heed lest you fall. The moment we get too prideful or too arrogant, we get too caught up in ourselves and thinking, "Well, I've read from Genesis all the way to Revelation. I'm good to go." Satan's going to strike. Here Peter is, of course, walking with Jesus, witnessing miracles. He, trying to think at this point that, I believe so, that they've already been sent out. They've, done works themselves, cast out demons themselves. And so we think about that, and yet here he is, and being rebuked and called Satan. That Satan has entered into his heart because he is just focused on the worldly things. He's focused on, my Lord can't die. I can't allow that to happen. But it's what had to happen, needed to happen. And so we have to be mindful of the things of the Lord also. And remember that even as we might be doing well, to make sure that we're continuing to be on guard so that we do not stumble and that we can continue to fight that good fight. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope everybody has a blessed day today. And if the Lord is willing, I'll talk to you later.